Hey, welcome. Today, we're going to dive into a really cool, kind of hidden connection between that static we all feel in conversations and a totally mind-blowing revolution that's happening in biology. It turns out the friction we experience might be based on a map of reality that's, well, just plain wrong.
So let me just ask you something right off the bat. What if that wall you sometimes feel between yourself and other people, that sense of competition or just disconnection, what if it isn't actually real? What if it's just a phantom, an illusion created by a really outdated idea?
To really get to the bottom of that, let's dive into the two basic ways humans interact with each other. You can think of it like one channel being full of noise and static, and the other one coming through perfectly clear.
So check this out. On the left, you've got the high T or dominant state. This is all noise, all competition. And you see that term beta spraying? It's the perfect way to describe that unsolicited advice that's really more about making the speaker feel big than actually helping. It's an impure state, bogged down by history and lag. But then, look over on the right, mutual spotting. This is pure synergy. It's about clarity, cooperation, safety, and a totally clean, instant connection.
And here's the crazy part. Our brains are lightning fast at this. A bit like that 333 rule in communication, we make a split-second judgment in about 3 seconds, deciding if an interaction is a competitive threat or a genuine chance for synergy.
So, where does all this static, all this competitive noise actually come from? The problem might not be with us. It might be with the map we're all using to navigate the world.
And this right here, this is probably the map you learned in biology class, the three-domain model of life. It puts everything into 3 neat, tidy boxes. It says there's bacteria, archaea, and then us, eukaryotes, on our own separate branch, creating these really rigid walls between us and everything else. And this is basically the villain of our story. This old map creates a false barrier. It forces these classifications that don't really exist, keeping everything stuck in place. It's like an outdated ruler trying to measure a world that has completely changed. This is the source of that bacteria distraction, making us think we're all fundamentally separate.
But what happens when you just throw that old ruler away? As the quote says, the confusion just melts away when you look at the new DNA evidence. A huge scientific breakthrough is about to solve our little social puzzle.
So, let's look at the new map. Let's see how this creates a completely different picture of not just where we come from, but how we're all connected.
Will you look at this? This is just incredible. The new evidence doesn't just tweak the old map, it tears it up and starts over. We go from a 3-domain tree to a 2-domain tree. And in this new reality, we're not on a separate branch at all. We are a well-nested clade deep inside the domain of archaea. It turns out separation was the illusion all along. Connection is what's fundamental. So here's the absolute game changer. That barrier we all thought was there, it never existed. We actually evolved from within this ancient group of microbes. We share a direct common ancestor. That means we're all way more closely related than we ever thought.
And the science on this has gotten incredibly precise. Researchers have even pinpointed our closest sister group inside the Asgard archaea. It's a new order they're calling the Hodarchalias. This brings our ancient microscopic family tree into crystal clear focus.
And you can totally feel the excitement from the actual scientists who figured this out. Brett Baker over at UT Austin, one of the key researchers, jokes in his talks that we are all Asgardian. It's not just a dry scientific reclassification, it's a complete redefinition of who we are.
And yeah, let's have a little fun with this, because the scientists definitely did. Naming them Asgard Archaea was a direct nod to Norse mythology. So, if we're all Asgardian, then yeah, technically, Thor is a very distant relative. Come on, who doesn't want that?
Okay, so this is all amazing stuff, but what does it mean for us? If we're all basically distant cousins, how do we actually use this new map to fix our communication and get rid of all that static?
Well, here's the protocol. It's a conscious choice, really. Step 1, you have to throw out that old map, that illusion of separation. Step 2, you actively accept your Asgardian link. You recognize that deep, shared connection with everyone. And from there, step 3, you can achieve brain-to-brain coupling. You stop being competitors, and you start being mutual spotters.
Think of it like this. You're taking all the grinds of our interactions, all that history, the status games, the dominance posturing that comes from that fake map, and you're turning it into instant coffee, a pure connection. See, you're not creating something new. You're just filtering out all the junk to get to the clear, powerful signal that was there the whole time.
Now, let's get into the brain science for just a second. There's this awesome concept called positive prediction error. It's that chemical rush of dopamine, that feeling of pure excitement you get when something turns out way better than you expected. And this is where it all clicks together. When you operate from the new map, you get rid of that artificial barrier. So when someone comes in expecting noise and competition, that whole high T state, and instead they get synergy and connection, bam! Their expectation of conflict is shattered and replaced by the surprise of finding family. And that creates a massive positive prediction error in the brain.
And this is the big idea I want to leave you with. By updating our own internal maps to reflect this new biological reality, we can fundamentally change our interactions. You go in expecting a barrier, but you find a family. And it's in that beautiful, surprising moment that real connection and real excitement is born.